What do you call someone who dedicates their lives to others who can't help themselves? Some people might call that someone a hero, but at South Warren and many other places we call that someone Miss Miller. Miss Miller is currently a special education teacher at South Warren Middle School, where she changes people's lives for the better.
Miss Connie Miller is one of my heroes in education, and it's not because she's so well known and has such wide and broad expertise. She does. She's presented at national conferences and state conferences, and I run into people all the time who've worked with her in their career or who trained underneath her. The reason I really admire Miss Miller is because of the change that she makes in students' lives. And I've watched students come into her program who don't speak, who are completely nonverbal, who've come from horribly abusive situations, and they open up and they just blossom with her, and they leave speaking when people never thought they would that quickly.
Not only has Miss Miller impacted students with special needs, but she has also impacted students throughout our school by creating a peer tutoring class that teaches them about special needs students and helps them learn how to work with them.
As a peer tutor in Miss Miller's peer tutoring class, I work with special needs students and I help program their devices so that they can learn better in school since they have these communication devices that fit their disabilities. In Miss Miller's peer tutoring class, I learned how to be patient more because these special needs kids, they aren't the same as us and they need more help to work in school, and so you really have to be patient and understand what they're going through so that you can fit their needs.
Miss Miller is not only involved in school-level special education, but she is also involved in other organizations such as national programs for special needs.
The thing I might know about Miss Miller that other people might not know is that she was the Center for Exceptional Children's Teacher of the Year, National Teacher of the Year, which was a pretty big deal.
The reason I think she is so successful is not because of her knowledge, and not even because of her experience, but mostly because of the core of who she is. And she's told me that every day she comes to work and she gets here really early and she sits in the parking lot and she opens up her Bible and she takes a few minutes to just read and focus her thoughts and her spirit and her passion. And then she comes in and she lives out what she believes.
It was a wonderful experience to have Miss Miller, including Annalie, in the regular classroom in the middle school. I will never be able to thank her enough for all that she did with Annalie, because she really changed the way she experienced school and learning in the everyday of life. There are not a lot of Connie Millers out there, and we're so blessed that she was with us for so many years in Annalie's education. Miss Miller is a champion of all people. She's a great example for all of us, whether we're looking at her as a teacher or a parent or a member of our community. And I'm super thankful that I've known her.
Thank you, Miss Miller, for changing so many people's lives for the better.
For many students, going to school can be a challenge, especially for students with special needs like autism spectrum, sensory processing, and social anxiety. New research is finding the use of therapy dogs at school can greatly benefit a variety of students. Joni Richards Elementary in Warren County is one school discovering the many benefits of using therapy dogs in the school with their therapy dog, George. George has a positive impact on both students and teachers. They get to take him outside and help care for his daily needs. Two students who attend Joni Richards, Callie and Luke, talk to us about what they think about George.
So this is George, and we get to see him sometimes on Fridays. He just walks around the school sometimes. You're going to the nurse or whatever you're doing in the office, you're able to pet him and see him and say hi to him. and it's always a pleasure and happy thing that you get to see him.
He's just a loving companion, I guess. I just love playing with him. Usually when my mom is teaching, I sometimes go in the office with him and I usually see George. So it makes me really happy when I see him.
George's owner, Becky, talks to us about the requirements for becoming a therapy dog and how therapy and service dogs are different.
A therapy dog is different from a service dog in that they don't have as many requirements. It's an online, for him anyway, it was an online application process. You have to answer questions about their temperament, and they do have to be at least a year old and have basic training, which George has had. And basically, I think the most important thing for a therapy dog to note the difference between that and a service dog is that therapy dogs can be great companions, and they're really good at reducing stress, and they're used in hospital settings, nursing homes, schools. The service dogs are more handler, service dog oriented. It's like more of a one-on-one relationship, and their service dogs are working dogs. George is very social. I don't know that he'd be a great service dog because he loves everybody, and I don't know that he would stay on task as well for just one person to do a job, but George is great at giving love and being a good companion, and so we knew that being a therapy dog would be right up his alley. Our principal is a dog lover, and she's liked George from day one, and she was the one that actually encouraged me to bring him. And when she saw how well George did with all of our students and how well the students responded to him, she was the one that, asked about him being a therapy dog or him coming regularly. And so we looked into it, decided to go ahead and register him, and got his little fancy vest, and he feels very special when he wears it.
Lori Chick is a resource assistant at Jody Richards. She explained to us how she uses George to benefit her students' behavior.
My name is Lori Chick, and I'm a resource assistant, and we use George as a reward for children to do the right things, make good choices, and do their work. For instance, I was just using George as a reward. When someone is not paying attention or not following directions, they lose a letter. So as you see, we just lost our first letter. And he started paying attention and completed his work. And after we're finished, he is going to get the reward of playing with George in the room. What do you know about George? He's sweet and cuddly, and he's very good with all the kids.
Just like George, therapy dogs across the country are bringing a new hope to current treatments and support to help students be happy, secure, and more ready to learn.
The museum was founded by one person. His name is Todd Swarmstead. He used to be the editor and publisher of the Sign Trade Journal.
I'm Todd Swarmstead. I'm the founder of the American Sign Museum. I spent probably a quarter century or so on a magazine called Signs of the Times, which is again a trade magazine for the sign industry.
It's a magazine that has existed for well over 100 years, and it was actually started in part by his family. So his family has been writing about signs and sign shops and sign technologies for over 100 years now.
The museum is actually what I call my midlife crisis project. I want to know about how many signs. We have about 600 signs. About half of those are on display, and that can range from that McDonald's sign I was talking about that weighs 2 tons and is 26 feet tall, all the way to what we call a POP sign, which is a point of purchase sign, like a small sign that would be inside a storefront. So there's a great range in those 600 signs from small to very large.
McDonald's is our kind of place. It's such a happy place.
The owner of the McDonald's had called me up a while back and asked if we'd be interested in buying the sign because they were going to move. And I said, yeah, I'd jump at the chance to buy that sign.
It was free to us. It came from Huntsville, Alabama. It cost around $30,000 to move it to Cincinnati. So that is the one that we probably have the most money invested in. We actually poured the concrete floors of the building around that sign, so if we ever sold it, I don't know how that would happen, but that is probably the most valuable sign in the museum.
McDonald's, a total value that's unmatched anywhere.
McDonald's is our kind of place. It's such a happy.
The Earl Scheib sign is definitely the one that has possibly the coolest story. For one, it is from Compton, California, and it has a nice big bullet hole running right through it. So it's from the birthplace of gangster rap. It's been shot before. That's pretty good. The sign itself is for Earl Scheib, which is, or was, a very cheap place to get your car repainted. Their slogan used to be "Any car, any color, 1995." And it was one of the very few signs that we did have to repaint in the museum. We really tried to avoid repainting the signs, and that was one of them that had to. So we had the cheap repainted sign and the sign from the birthplace of gangster rap that had been shot. You add those together and you get easily the coolest backstory for one single sign. What do I do on a day-to-day basis? I do a lot. We don't have a lot of employees here, so I am running a cash register, selling tickets. I give a lot of the tours here. I schedule group tours and field trips. I will sometimes work events. We rent the museum out for weddings and birthday parties and holiday parties. So I will either be working those or setting up tables for those, redesigning our website, running all of our social media platforms. I get to do a lot, which is exciting. So
People are amazed at coming here. It's a walk down memory lane for a lot of people, and it conjures up memories from the past. And generally those memories are good memories. Like if you walk around the museum and kind of hang in the background and listen to people or watch people point at things and they go, oh, I remember that sign. And again, it's always this good memory.
I'm not gonna get home.
Signs are everywhere. It's hard to even in a rural area to not see signs, but people never think that someone's got to design that sign, someone's got to create that sign, whether it's painted or whether it's electric or whatever. Someone's got to install that sign. So what happens when people come to the museum is they have a new appreciation for the people that make, install, and design signs. So if a person comes to the museum and leaves here with a new appreciation for the craft of sign making, then we've accomplished our mission.
It's really of epidemic proportions is the best way to describe it. The drug problem has been bad for years, and it seems to be getting worse.
In Hardin County, Kentucky, the issue of drug abuse is significant. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's marijuana, whether it's methamphetamine, whether it's heroin, whether it's prescription drug abuse, if you name it, if it's on the streets in New York City, it's on the streets in Hardin County.
We see a whole lot of meth in Hardin County and have for a number of years. Heroin has made a comeback since pill mills were kind of cracked down on in Florida. We've seen an increase in heroin simply because supply and demand has dictated that the price of pills has increased and heroin is now cheaper than pills. So we are seeing a lot of heroin infiltrating this area.
It's pretty bad out there. You know, Kentucky leads the nation in overdoses. Kentucky leads the nation in children born addicted to opiates. Across the country, I think we're losing over 100 people a day to overdoses. Most of those are the heroin and fentanyl overdoses. It's probably about as bad as it's ever been.
Not everyone who comes to court that has an underlying drug issue is charged with a drug charge. For example, if you have possession of methamphetamine, you're charged with a drug offense, possession of methamphetamine. But you might also be out there in our community stealing from other people, shoplifting from stores to support that very drug habit. So whether it is an actual drug offense or a charge that exists because of an addiction, those are a significant number of individuals, a significant number. I would say more than 50%, probably closer to 75% of the matters that come through this courthouse have an underlying issue with a drug-related issue.
It's really hard to put a specific percentage on what percentage of crimes are driven by the drug trade, but I would say it's significant, much higher than 50%. Drug use is a crime in and of itself. Drug possession, distribution of narcotics and other types of drugs is a crime. But there are a lot of other crimes that accompany drug use. We see a whole lot of thefts, burglaries, other types of violent crime that are related to drug use.
Well, our total number of cases has doubled in the last 20 years. And since more than half of those, I believe, are related to drug issues, then I would have to say that they've grown as well.
Hardin County is a federally designated high-intensity drug trafficking zone. We are located on the Interstate 65, and also Western Kentucky Parkway comes through this area. So there's a whole lot of just interstate traffic in this area, which kind of promotes the drug trade.
We have painkillers being prescribed for legitimate reasons for patients, and they are an addictive substance. So we are seeing an increase in that.
Why does our community find themselves in this throes of addiction? Why does it keep happening generation after generation? Why are we in that situation? Many times the people who are dealing with drugs, if they're teenagers, many times they're bored. Sometimes we're trying to escape something in life. Maybe it may be a harm that was to them, or a family that was no longer together, and they're trying to make adult decisions in a juvenile body. And they're trying to escape what's going on in their life for whatever reason. And because they're available, it's an opportunity to use for an escape from reality, because sometimes reality can be really tough.
That's a hard issue to diagnose. Why exactly is there so much drug use in this county? And that's, if you got the answer to that question, then you could go a long way to solving the drug problem, and we're still trying to answer that question.
Looking for something to do in South Central Kentucky? Mind the Hen Gems in downtown Bowling Green. Downtown Bowling Green has many scrumptious restaurants, trendy shops, and exciting sources of entertainment. You will not want to miss the variety of appetizing restaurants in downtown Bowling Green. Steamer Seafood offers fresh seafood every day. The Kentucky Grand Hotel creates several select desserts to tantalize your taste buds. The menu at Mickey's on Main showcases a wide array of dishes, including savory crab cakes, zesty shrimp cocktails, and bite-sized mushroom puffs. Unique shopping experiences await you in downtown Bowling Green. You can find clothing and accessories at Pink Daisy. For exclusive Kentucky gifts, check out the Topper's Corner with specialty items from Western Kentucky University, and lots of Kentucky Proud products. For quality produce from local farmers, make sure to visit the local farmers market. It has vegetables, jellies, bread, fruit, and much more. Downtown Bowling Green has multiple sources of entertainment. The Southern Kentucky Performing Arts Center, locally known as SkyPack, has concerts, musicals, and other touring productions. Enjoy the national pastime at the Bowling Green Ballpark watching the Hot Rods, an affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Downtown has several parks with beautiful fountains where people gather to enjoy festivals and concerts. In the winter, the farmers market transforms into an ice skating rink for lots of slip sliding, family fun. With so many hidden gems in downtown Bowling Green, you could spend days exploring all the restaurants, shopping areas, and entertainment venues and never experience them all. So why are you waiting? Come visit downtown Bowling Green.
Did you know that there are currently over 500,000 coding jobs available nationwide?
Unfortunately, less than 50,000 computer science students graduated into the workforce last year.
But there is a global initiative aimed at combating this shortage by helping to promote computer science and coding.
1 hour at a time.
Hour of Code Week!
Code.org, a non-profit organization and website, was launched by Harry Tovey in 2013 to encourage students to learn computer science.
Hour of Code Week launched in the same year during Computer Science Education Week.
Code.org launched an Hour of Code challenge on their website during this time to help all tech students in all grade levels about computer science.
Over 20 million people participated the first year, and over 600 million lines of code were written.
Since it was introduced, over 100 million students have now participated in 45 languages.
That means over 450 million hours of code have been completed and counting.
So what does an Hour of Code event look like?
Take a look.
Hello, today I'm here with Maddie Allen. Maddie, would you like to say anything about Hour of Code?
Yes, what I think is really cool that kids get to draw their own drawings and doodles on Google just like adults do.
Thank you, Maddie.
Today I'm here with Riley Jeffries. Riley, why do you like Hour of Code so much?
Because it's fun and you get to learn at the same time.
Thank you, Riley.
Now that you know a little more about Hour of Code Week, we hope you participate in the future.
Because coding is our future.